Jnanakosha, Puranas, Introduction.
सर्गच्च प्रतिसर्गच्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Sri Krishna, Parvati requested Lord Mahadeva to narrate the divine tales of Vasudeva Krishna. Lord Mahadeva replied, Vasudeva was the descendant of Yadu. His father was Devamida. He was married to Devaki, the daughter of Ugrasena. Ugrasena also had a mighty son named Kansa. Kansa was extremely affectionate towards his sister Devaki. After her marriage, while Devaki was going to her husband's house on a chariot being driven by Kamsa, suddenly a heavenly voice was heard. Kamsa, you would meet death at the hands of Devaki's eighth son. Kamsa became very scared and wanted to kill his sister then and there. But Vasudeva requested Kamsa to spare Devaki's life and promised to hand over any child that she gave birth to. Thus Kamsa imprisoned both Vasudeva and Devaki. In course of time, Devaki gave birth to 7 sons and Kamsa killed each of them. Lord Sri Hari manifested himself when Devaki conceived for the 8th time. It was the month of Shravan and the day was Krishna Ashtami. And when Sri Hari took his incarnation at midnight, soon after taking his incarnation, he gave a glimpse of his divine form to Vasudeva and Devaki. On the instruction of Sri Hari, Vasudeva carried the infant to Nanda's house. He had no problem in moving out of the prison as all the guards had fallen asleep due to the illusion of Sri Hari. On seeing the swift currents of overflooded Yamuna, Vasudeva became worried, but the level of river Yamuna receded as soon as Sri Krishna touched the river with his feet. Sheshanag protected Sri Krishna from heavy rain with his 1,000 hoods. When Vasudeva reached Nanda's house, he found that Nanda's wife Yashoda had given birth to a baby girl. Yashoda was sleeping at the time and Vasudeva had no problem in exchanging Sri Krishna with that baby girl. Vasudeva then returned to the prison and laid down the baby girl beside Devaki. The baby girl started crying and the guards immediately woke up. They informed Kamsa about the birth of Devaki's 8th child. Kamsa tried to kill that baby girl by smashing her head, but she escaped from his hands and flew up in the sky. She thundered, Your death is certain, as your assassin has already taken birth. Kamsa was terrified at the prospect of his death. He instructed his soldiers to kill all the infants wherever they were to be found in his kingdom. He also ordered the release of Vasudeva and Devaki, as there was no point keeping them in captivity. Meanwhile, Sri Krishna grew up under the guardianship of Nanda and Yashoda. One day, Kamsa sent a wicked ogress named Putana to kill Sri Krishna. Putana had applied poison on her breast and tried to kill Krishna by breastfeeding him. Sri Krishna sucked her breast with such ferocity that she died. Thus Sri Krishna gave the first glimpse of his divinity to the inhabitants of Vajra. Sri Krishna accompanied many such divine deeds during his childhood, and he accomplished all of them. He grew up to be a mischievous child and used to play numerous pranks on the fellow gopis. He used to steal their butter and curd. One day all the gopis complained to Yashoda about Sri Krishna's misdeeds. Yashoda became angry and tied him with a wooden mortar in order to prevent him from troubling the gopis. She then placed that mortar between the two trees so that Krishna could not move. But Sri Krishna toddled away, uprooting both the huge trees. Once a demon named Bakasura disguised himself as a huge heron and tried to kill Sri Krishna. But Sri Krishna hit him with a stone with such force that he met an instant death. This way Sri Krishna had killed many ferocious demons while he was still a small child. Some of them were Kaliya, the serpent, Dhenu, Kashur, Aristi, Keshi. A significant incident had occurred during the Krishna's childhood. People of Vajra were devotees of Indra and used to worship him. Sri Krishna stopped this tradition and encouraged people to worship Govardhan mountain. Indra became extremely furious and caused incessant rain for 1 week. Sri Krishna protected the people by lifting Govardhan mountain and shielding them from the continuous downpour. At last, Indra accepted defeat and eulogized Sri Krishna. Killing of Kamsa. Continuing with the divine tales of Sri Krishna, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, when Kamsa failed in his repeated attempts to kill Sri Krishna, he instructed Akrura to invite both Krishna and Balrama to Mathura on the pretext of attending a ceremony called Dhanush-yagya. Kansa had planned to kill Sri Krishna by deceitful means. Akrura was a great devotee of Sri Krishna and was aware of Kansa's evil intentions. But he had no other option but to follow the command of his master Kansa. So Akrura went to Vajra where Sri Krishna and Balrama used to live. Sri Krishna and Balrama were delighted to meet Akrura. After the formal exchange of pleasantries, Krishna took Akrura to his home. Akrura conveyed the instructions of Kansa to Nanda and requested him to send both Sri Krishna and Balrama to Mathura. Akrura said Sri Krishna is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu and Kansa will be killed by him. Nanda and Yashoda were reluctant to send Sri Krishna to Mathura, but Sri Krishna convinced them. Ultimately, Akrura returned to Mathura accompanied by Krishna and Balrama. The people of Vajra became sad when the time of Krishna's departure to Mathura arrived. When Akrura reached Mathura accompanied by Sri Krishna and Balrama, it was already evening. Sri Krishna saw a dyer with colorful apparels going towards Kansa's palace. Sri Krishna playfully demanded some set of clothes from that dyer which he refused to give. Sri Krishna was infuriated and slapped him so hard that he started vomiting blood. In a short time the dyer was dead. Sri Krishna and Balrama chose some beautiful set of clothes for themselves and proceeded towards the palace of Kamsa. After some time they met a crooked woman carrying sandalwood paste. Sri Krishna demanded some sandalwood paste from her, which she gave without any hesitation. Sri Krishna blessed that crooked woman, as a result of which she was cured by her physical deformity. At last both Sri Krishna and Balrama reached the oblation site where Dhanush-yagya was supposed to be performed. Sri Krishna lifted the divine bow kept there and broke it into 2 pieces. When Kamsa learnt that the divine bow had been broken, he ordered Charnur to kill Krishna in a bristling bout. Kamsa also fortified his palace by poisoning wild elephants and mighty warriors at all the entrance points. Sri Krishna and Balrama spent the night at the oblation site. In the morning, both of them proceeded towards the palace. Sri Krishna found an elephant named Kuvalayadipa standing at the main entrance of the palace. He killed that ferocious elephant without much difficulty. Sri Krishna and Balrama then entered the gymnasium where wrestling bouts were supposed to take place. All the demons, those who had witnessed Sri Krishna killing that huge elephant without any problem, became terrified and fled away from the gymnasium. Sri Krishna and Balrama entered the chamber of Kansa. Kansa became terrified and ordered his trusted lieutenant Chanur and Mashtek to kill Krishna. Chanur confronted Sri Krishna while Mushtik fought a duel with Balram. Ultimately, both the demons were killed after a fierce duel. Now Kansa was left all alone. Sri Krishna pulled Kansa from the throne where he was sitting and slapped him so hard that he fell down on the ground. The injury proved to be fatal, and as a result, Kansa died. Balrama also killed Kansa's younger brother, whose name was Sunama. After killing Kansa, Krishna and Balrama went to meet their parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. They also freed their maternal grandfather Ugrasena, who had been imprisoned by Kamsa. At last, they appointed Ugrasena as the king of Mathura. Jarasandha. Jarasandha was the father-in-law of Kamsa. When he learnt about Kamsa's death, he surrounded Mathura with a huge army. Sri Krishna was well aware of Jarasandha's might and bravery. He was also convinced that it would not be easy to defeat Jarasandha. So he remembered Daruk, his eternal charioteer, and sought his help. Daruk appeared with a divine chariot named Sugriv Pushpak. The chariot was well armed with all the divine weapons of Lord Vishnu. Sri Krishna and Balram then entered the battlefield mounted on that divine chariot. A fierce battle was fought between Sri Krishna and Jarasandha's army. Jarasandha covered Krishna's chariot with his various weapons, but Sri Krishna destroyed them with his chakra. Sri Krishna then destroyed Jarasandha's army by showering volley of arrows from his famous bow Sharang. Seeing the death and destruction in his army, Jarasandha came forward to fight Balram. Balram attacked Jarasandha with his dangerous weapon Hala and destroyed his chariot. Jarasandha fell down on the ground, and as Balram was about to kill him, Sri Krishna requested Balram not to kill Jarasandha. After being defeated, Jarasandha sought the help of Kalyan, who had a large army. Kalyanuman agreed to help Jarasandha and surrounded Mathura with his army. Realizing that Mathura was no longer a safe place to live, Sri Krishna shifted the whole population of Mathura to Dwaraka and went to fight Kalyanuman. The battle continued for a long period, and after realizing that it was not easy to defeat his army, Sri Krishna ran towards the cave where Muchkund had been sleeping since many past years. Muchkund was blessed with a boon according to which any person upon whom he put his glance after waking up from his sleep would die. Krishna had himself behind Muchkund. Kalyanuvan, who was chasing Krishna, entered the cave and kicked Muchkund. Muchkund opened his eyes and saw Kalyanuvan. Kalyanuvan was burned to ashes. This way Sri Krishna was able to defeat his powerful enemy by his cleverness. Abduction of Rukmini. Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, when Jarasandha learnt about Kalyanuvan's death, he attacked Balram to avenge his friend's death. But very soon he realized that it was beyond this capacity to defeat Balram. So he retreated along with his army. Sri Krishna and Balram returned to Dwaraka. In course of time, Balram married Revati and daughter of Raivata. At that time, there ruled a king named Bhishmak. He ruled over Vidarbha. He had a beautiful daughter named Rukmini. He also had many sons, among whom Rukmini was prominent. Rukmini wanted Rukmini to get married to Shishupal, much against her wishes. Rukmini, being an incarnation of goddess Lakshmi, rightly wanted to have Sri Krishna as her husband. Rukmini sent a message to Sri Krishna about her brother's intention. Sri Krishna went to help her, accompanied by Balram. Sri Krishna reached Vidarbha on the same day. Rukmini was supposed to marry Shishupal and abducted her to Dwarka. Jarasandha and Rukmini chased Krishna's chariot, but Balarama defeated Krishna Jarasandha while Sri Krishna fastened Rukmini with the chariot. Sri Krishna also shaved off Rukmini's hair, which filled with him with so much of shame that he decided not to return to Vidarbha. After reaching Dwarka, Sri Krishna married Rukmini on an auspicious day. Sri Krishna's queens. Continuing with the divine tales of Sri Krishna, Lord Mahadeva told Parvati, Sri Krishna had 16,000 queens, among whom Satyabhama, Kalindi, Mitravinda were prominent. King Satyajit had a priceless diamond named Samantaka, which he had presented to his younger brother Prasena. Sri Krishna was fascinated by that diamond and demanded it from Prasena, which he refused to part with. One day Sri Krishna, along with Prasena and other Yadavas, went into the forest for hunting. While chasing a deer, Prasena seceded from his group and was killed by a lion. The lion took the diamond and started playing with it. Incidentally, Jambavan, who had once fought along with Sri Ram against Ravana, saw the lion playing with the diamond. He killed that lion and took the diamond in his possession. When Sri Krishna returned to Dwarka, he was surprised by a strange rumor which pervaded the whole city. Some people suspected that Sri Krishna had killed Prasena for the diamond. Sri Krishna was very much disturbed by this baseless rumor. To clear the doubts, he went into the forest accompanied by all the residents of Dwarka and showed the dead body of Prasena, which was still lying there. He saw, when people saw the mutilated corpse of Prasena, which bore marks of the lion's claws and canis, they became convinced of Sri Krishna's innocence. While returning back to Dwarka, Sri Krishna saw an effulgent cave. Sri Krishna was very surprised and wanted to find out the source of light. He entered the cave and saw Prasena's diamond hanging on top of a cradle, in which a child was lying. A woman was singing a lullaby so that the child falls asleep. The lion killed Prasena while Jambavan killed the lion and acquired this diamond from its possession. O child, don't cry, as this priceless diamond belongs to your father. Sri Krishna furiously blew his conch. Jambavan came out from the cave after listening to the sound of the conch. A fierce duel took place between them, which continued for 10 days. At last, Jambavan realized that the person against whom he was fighting was none other than Sri Ram himself. Jambavan then gave his daughter Jambavati to Krishna in marriage and gave lot of wealth as dowry, including that Samantak diamond. Bharadwaj had 3 daughters, Sulakshamana, Nagaditi and Shushila. Sri Krishna had married all the 3 of them in a Swayamvara. This way Sri Krishna had altogether 8 prominent queens consorts: Rukmini, Satyabhama, Kalindini, Mitravinda, Jambavati, Naganajiti, Sulakshanamana and Sushila. There lived a mighty demon named Narakasura. He had defeated the deities and snatched the divine earrings of Aditi, the mother of deities. He had created an aerial city in which he lived along with other demons. The deities went to Sri Krishna and sought his help. Sri Krishna flew up in the sky, mounted on the back of Garuda. Satyabhama was also accompanying him. Sri Krishna was amazed to see the well-fortified palace of Narakasura. When the demons saw Sri Krishna, they attacked him, but Sri Krishna challenged them by a blow in his conch. Narakasura came forward to fight Sri Krishna. A fierce battle took place in which Sri Krishna broke Narakasura's bow with his arrows. Ultimately, Sri Krishna was successful in killing Narkasura. Sri Krishna then returned to the whole wealth to the deities, which Narkasura had looted from them. He also liberated 16,000 women whom Narkasura has imprisoned. After being liberated, all the women accepted Sri Krishna as their husband. Aniruddha marries Usha. Lord Mahadeva continued with the divine tales of Sri Krishna. O Parvati, Sri Krishna had a son from Rukmini whose name was Aniruddha. Aniruddha was very brave and had killed a demon named Shambhashur. There is an interesting tale how Aniruddha married Usha. Once Usha, the daughter of Banagur, saw a very handsome young man in her dreams. She was so infatuated by his handsome personality that she developed a deep desire of marrying him. When she woke up next morning, she expressed her desire to her companion, Chitralekha. Chitralekha was an accomplished painter. She saw a sketch of a handsome man drew as per the descriptions of Usha. When the painting was ready, Chitralekha revealed to Usha that the person who she had seen in her dream was none other than Aniruddha. Chitralekha had divine powers. She went to Dwaraka and abducted Aniruddha while he was asleep. She then carried the sleeping Aniruddha and laid him on the bed of Usha. When Usha woke up, she was thrilled to see the man of her dreams. Aniruddha remained there for many days without Banasura being aware of his presence. One day Banasura came to know about Aniruddha's presence. He became furious and imprisoned Aniruddha. Sage Narada informed Sri Krishna about Aniruddha's imprisonment. Sri Krishna went to fight a battle against Banasur and release Aniruddha from his imprisonment. Although Sri Krishna was leading a large army and was accompanied by mighty warriors like Baladeva and Pradyumna, yet he was aware that it was not easy to fight Banasur, who had 1,000 arms and whom Lord Shiva had vowed to protect. A fierce battle commenced between the armies of Sri Krishna and Lord Shiva, but the battle remained indecisive for a long time. Meanwhile, Banasura came forward to fight against Sri Krishna. Very soon, Sri Krishna severed all the 1,000 hands of Banasur with his chakra. Lord Shiva then requested Sri Krishna to spare Banasur's life and said, Banasur has received the boon of immortality from me. Now only you can protect the dignity of my boon given to him. Sri Krishna spared Banasur's life. Banasur then agreed to marry his daughter to Aniruddha. This way Aniruddha married Usha with great fanfare.